Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 A's: attitude, aptitude, and action, and how you should be using those to give cleaners more buildings or bring on new cleaners. It is extremely important to utilize this correctly. We've just started building a whole new process around this and seen a lot of great success, so I wanted to give it to you guys. As always, my name is Peter Bolin, and I've helped close over $50 million of commercial cleaning contracts, and I'm here just to show you how we did it. Okay, so the 3 A's are really attitude, aptitude, and action. Attitude is really nothing more than the approach you bring to challenges, people, every single day to work. How are you showing up? What is your mindset like? Are you positive? Are you negative? Do you take feedback well? Are you eager to implement the feedback that you've gotten? Do you correct it right away? What is the attitude you have when dealing with team members, potentially clients? Is it an attitude that you want to work with or promote to give more work and then have to deal with this person more? Okay. Second one is aptitude. So really, what are their skill sets like? Are they able to take a little bit of information that you give them and then deliver on the final product? Or do you need to break the information down? You're trying to teach a 5-year-old something and then follow up consistently before it gets done. So how is their aptitude when giving tasks? Are they able to just implement it and go or not? And then the last one is action. After you've promoted them or given them something to do, how quickly between you telling them to do it or when it's due, do they just get it done? Is this something that needs constant supervising to it? Do they get it done to the standard that you need them to get it done? Are they taking the action necessary to finish the work on time in a good manner and without you having to oversee it, and manage it? And that's really the 3 A's. And inside each of the 3 A's, we have these linked to a lot of behaviors. So for us, the way we have this process work, we have 2 teams. We have a building changeover team who's responsible for changing out cleaners that we may have that are giving up their building, or maybe they have too many service issues and we want to remove them. And they find these people, whether it's a new alliancee that we have or it's an existing one. They're set into territories, and then they look at their alliancee group, and then they go through the list to see who can take on the building. And then we have our service team. Our service team has to approve what our BCO team wants to put in a building, because our service team has extra information. Yes, it's all in the CRM, but sometimes the CRM, there's a lot of data to go through in order to see if they're the right person. And people change. Maybe they were the right person 6 months ago for a building, but they're going through something personally, and now their attitude has switched a little bit. Everybody goes through seasons. So we have our BCO team communicate with our client service team, and our client service team is responsible for what it sounds like: servicing the clients, making sure the work's getting done correctly, and we're delivering on what we promised from sales. So in this process, they have to, the BCO team, go through this. Okay, we found somebody who's interested in a building, and then they meet with their service rep who's also in charge of the same territory. And then they go over, all right, how is this person's attitude? So what our service team will look at is when there's an issue or they have to communicate with them, are they positive, eager to solve the issue, or are they negative? They go into the building and complain. Have we had issues in this way? Where maybe they say they'll be there at 5 and we have somebody meeting them and they show up at 5:15, 5:30. Right? And then we've had a phone call from a client for it. Or we look at these aspects of their attitude. Is it a really great attitude? And is it a really great attitude, and does the service team want to work with this person more. Because if we don't want to work with somebody right now because they have such a bad attitude, giving them more buildings means that we're going to have to spend more time with them because they're going to have more area that they cover and more opportunities for issues. Also on attitude, do they respond promptly when there's an issue? So if we have an issue or there's a client update and we send them an email, a text message, phone call, how quickly do they respond to us? Is it 4 hours, 2 hours, same day, 48 hours? Do we have to call multiple times to try to get a hold of them? Because we have a 4-hour window where we need a response back from them, right? We understand they're busy. We'll call, email, and text and ask to set up a meeting to quickly go over it so that we can solve the issue tonight and have a game plan for the client. And if we don't get that back in time, what happens is our service team has to work after hours to try to get a hold of them, which then creates overtime and issues. And then sometimes you'd have somebody that doesn't want to get back to you for 2 days or doesn't want to hop on a phone call. And these are all indicators of people that we don't want to work with. So we want to make sure that we're not promoting cleaners that aren't following the rule set and have a great attitude. And the last one they look is, do they represent One Janitorial well? And how you represent us well is you are at your building. You are sending your inspections on time. You have a great attitude. If you bump into somebody in the building and we do our client service calls, they give rave reviews about you, how nice you are. So are they a good representation of us? So these are the really 3 areas that we look at for attitude. And if they pass these, great. One's down to give them more buildings. So the next one is aptitude. And what we look at here is, can this cleaner take on more buildings and still deliver great quality? Do they already have their staff lined up if they're using staff? How far away from the building actually are they? Does it mix with some of their existing buildings? If they have 2 buildings that are cleaned on Monday and Wednesday night, and they're each 2.5 hours, so that's 5 hours at night, and they want to take on another building that's Monday and Wednesday, that's 3 hours a night, that's a full night of cleaning. And if they don't have the staff lined up already, ready to go, and have everything in place, they might not have the aptitude to do it right now. Maybe they have to learn the skill set of how to hire and how to train people. So we want to really make sure that we're looking at the aptitude of the cleaner in that aspect. And then another one for aptitude is they must have no cleaning issues within the past 3 months. And we define a cleaning issue as any time a client is upset with the work. Now, sometimes the client is upset because they want something done on the checklist that isn't there. We still log that as a service issue because our client service team's job is to ensure that the client is happy and being serviced. So anytime a client is upset, that is a service issue. Now, there's various degrees that we have with it, but nonetheless, that is one. And we cannot have that Alliance seat out of all their buildings cannot have any service issues within the past 3 months. None whatsoever. So if they have 5 buildings, the way they got there was they had no service issues for 3 months on all of them, and they kept getting more. And the second they pop up, they immediately stop, and they have to go 3 months with ensuring that there's nothing going wrong and everything is great. Now, the last one is action. So for us, we look at, are they sending the inspections on time without us having to prompt them? Are they filled out correctly with all the necessary information that we ask for and we need? So if they're doing this and they're taking the action necessary and they're sending their inspection in so we can review, and it has when they're doing their periodic tasks on it, and then we're sending it away to the client, that is great action. We want that. But if we're having to go after them, prompt them, and probe them, A, they don't take the necessary action to deliver on what we promised the client. So giving them more means we're going to either A, get the same we're getting now, or we're going to get worse because they have too much work now. Because maybe the issue is the fact that they have too much work and they can't get around to doing these extra things. That in itself is a problem and we don't want to promote it. Are they sending their invoices on time, or we have to continuously go after them to ensure that we're sending their invoices. When we have used them to maybe help out with ambassador work or to get keys for their buildings, are they on time, in a professional manner, and ready to take on the building, or do we have issues with it? Everything we do with our alliancees, we have set processes, templates, scripts. So when we do something, it's all lined up 100%. And if we have issues, it's usually not because we did something with the alliancee or missed a step. It's because the alliancee maybe decided to just skip a step. Now, if it is our fault, that's something we'll go back through the process, we'll look at, we'll make sure it's corrected, we'll train our person on. But we need to make sure that the alliancee is taking the right action. And if there's something that they don't understand, to at least 95%, that they have to ask us so we can solve the problem for them. We don't want guessing going into a building. We want it done right the first time. And then the last thing with action is, if there was a misclean, did they communicate it effectively to us? If there was a problem with the building, the alarm couldn't be set, were we communicated correctly on it? And if we weren't communicated correctly on it, then that means there's something that this alliancee doesn't know, and we need to train them first before they get any more buildings. So this is attitude, aptitude, and action all put into place. And we have 2 departments that have to approve everything and check it before we move a cleaner up, because we don't want to give people more work when they're already having problems. And now the problems may just require coaching to ensure it gets done effectively and gets done right. That's more than understandable with it. But before we can give them buildings, we need to make sure that they've taken the coaching and then implemented it correctly into their building before we reward them with more work. So this is very, very, very important. And it's something that's helping us a lot in making sure that we're putting the right cleaners in the right places and that they're successful. It also rewards great behavior, which is what we want to do as well in the company. So if you want to take these 3 steps and then utilize them within your own company, go ahead. As always, I hope you like this information and this content. What you can do, if you like, is go to the link below, schedule a free 30-minute coaching with me. Really helps me in understanding what everybody's struggling with, and helps me really build out content as well too. And then if you want to do more longer term coaching with me, you could just ask via email or on the coaching call. Again, thank you guys very much, and hope you have a great day.